let's get our full-blown acceleration without dying today. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're gonna be going over a 2021 Dodge Challenger Scat Pack with the shaker hood. But first and foremost, a huge shout out and thank you to the Dodge Ram here in Sandy for giving me some time with this Challenger. Check out their inventory in the link below. Let's get straight into the video. Popping out of the hood here of the Scat Pack shaker, we can see that we have a naturally aspirated 6.4 liter Hemi V8 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 15 around town and then 24 on the highway, with power outputs being 485 horsepower and then 475 pound-feet of torque. And you guys can see with the shaker hood, you actually get real venting with that, which is actually pretty cool. And I love how they have the whole like air intake exposed there, and then yes, you have the hole in the hood. So yeah, just like a really cool setup in general. Let's go over the front end of the Scat Pack shaker. So obviously, again, you've got that 392 shaker at the top, which just looks absolutely fantastic. And then you can see that you've got the LED halo lights, which again look really cool. And I just love like the depth on the lights. It's just a really cool look in general. You got your Challenger RT badge there on the front, and the fog lights just down below. And then you do have a little chin spoiler here at the front end. But overall, this is definitely like as close as you can get to like old school muscle car aesthetic. Coming around the side here, we've got two 45mm tires on 20-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear. As for this particular car, they did a dark metallic gray for the wheel color itself, which I think looks really cool. And then you've got the black brake calipers to accent, well, the black paint here with the Scat Pack. You got the little Scat Pack logo there on the side as well. And other than that, the side angle on this car looks so cool because, again, you can see the shaker there and just definitely a cool aesthetic. Hopping into the trunk here of the shaker, you guys can see that it's actually really practical. This definitely has the biggest trunk for a muscle car compared to the Chevy Camaro and the Ford Mustang. Got a bunch of goodies back here for the first owner, and then there's this little strap right here. It's kind of hard. You have to pull it back that way, and then you guys can see this is where the fix-a-flat kit and everything is, and then you do get a little bit of extra storage underneath there as well. But yeah, other than that, that's the whole trunk area. So, well, see ya. Now let's go over the rest of the back of the car. So you guys can see that you've got the black spoiler here, which has a little camera integrated into it. And then you got the full LED lights here. Again, that's like a signature of the Challenger with how those lights look. And then this actually has the black stripe here across the back. Now, obviously, it looks a lot cooler in a car that's not black. I mean, it still looks cool because you have like the gloss next to the matte finish. But again, if this car is like purple or yellow or red or something, definitely would stand out a lot more. And then obviously you've got the wedge kind of exhaust tips, which have always looked cool here on the Challenger. Kind of goes with the overall like boxy muscle car theme. Now before we go over the door panel, I do want to mention the little gas cap right here. Pretty normal, but I just love the fuel door, how it's, again, black, kind of matches the little stripe there on the back and the spoiler. But anyways, actually popping here to the door panel, you can see you actually have cloth trim here, and then you've got the soft touch. You can rest your arm with the black stitching, all of your window controls, and then you get a little door handle right there. This does come with the Alpine sound system. Now, before we go over the seat here in the front, you got that little latch right there, and then you have to use the power adjustment to push the seat forward the rest of the way. You guys have seen me get into the back of a million Challengers. It's good for a muscle car, but for a regular car, definitely pretty limited on space. And this particular one has the cloth seats, so hopefully you guys can kind of see that here with the back seats. You got the full cloth seats. You got kind of like the houndstooth pattern on it is the best way for me to describe it, with the pattern on the seats themselves. But anyways, bam. Now, actually looking at the front seats here, you can see the bolsters are absolutely massive. You do have the little Scat Pack logo there at the top, and again, that same design here on the seats themselves. And then you can see the bolsters just down below. You have power adjustments for that part of the seat. The back part, though, you can see that is manually adjustable. And then you got the pedal layout right there, the little hood latch release. You've got your light control over here, and then that is the release for the trunk. The steering wheel is manually adjustable. And then you can see your radio controls and your paddles there in the back. But there's one more look before we pop in. Here's the steering wheel in the Challenger. You can see you've got soft touch leather at the top and at the bottom, and then you've got the perforated leather on either side, so you get a little bit of a better grip. We're actually going to grab onto the steering wheel itself. You can see you've got your little cruise control over here. You've got this control for the center stack, and then you've got your controls for the voice command and phone controls. And again, those radio controls behind the paddle shifters themselves. But overall, pretty cool design for a steering wheel. Now before we go over the gauges, I did forget to mention, you got your little turn signal, windshield wiper stock right there. But anyways, going to the gauges, I love the retro theme behind them. I think this looks really cool with the RPMs and with the speed. And then you do have the center screen. Obviously that's kind of like the modern tech that comes with this, just gives you different bits of information with the vehicle. I think the performance stuff is pretty cool with the vehicle. You can see all the different bits of information on, even braking time, G-forces, all that kind of stuff. So pretty cool setup in the center, but nothing too crazy that we haven't seen before. Now here's the center infotainment system. First off, if we pop it into reverse, you guys can see you've got the backup camera with the trajectory lines. They do turn with the steering wheel itself. And then as for the rest of the infotainment system, response time is really good. You can see you've got heated seats and a heated steering wheel, which I'm actually gonna turn off because even though it's 30 degrees outside, for some reason, it feels hot to me today. Anyways, you guys can see with the climate controls, if we actually turn that on, got a dual zone climate, and then if you want it off, you just press the off button. Pretty easy to use. And then with the rest of the applications, you can see that we've got the SRT modes. This is just your drive mode, so you can see it tells you all the things that it changes when you go into the different drive modes. The mode that's probably the most user-friendly is going to be the sport mode. The track mode you're probably not going to use as much, just because of the traction that you don't get in track mode. So sport mode is probably going to be the preferred driving mode for most people when they are driving this car. And then the next little thing is the SRT dashboard. This is something that's newer here in the Challengers and just kind of like in the Dodge product in general. And basically you can see this is where your launch control is. You've got your line lock as well, so it helps you do burnouts. And then it does have a shortcut to the drive modes and the performance pages as well. You guys can see the performance pages, I'm leaving this on here, still do take quite some time to load up, which isn't horrible, but I mean, it does take a second. And then you can see like real-time horsepower. So if I lightly tap the throttle, you guys can see I made a whopping like 5 horsepower there. Look at that, 5 whole horsepower. Now down below we've got analog controls for the radio. You can see that you've got your little launch control button here, your parking sensors, your stability control, and then you've got the shortcut to the drive modes, dual zone climate controls, and then we do have the shifter for the 8-speed automatic. And again, you can manually shift the gears yourself if you'd like. Couple cup holders right here, and then we do have the rest of the center console. So again, decent amount of storage. You can see you've got some USB ports and auxiliary, and then a 12 volt, and then you got leather on the top of the stitching that goes all across. And notice that this continues with the soft touch here, so definitely from a material standpoint, the whole center console area looks cool, but it's also nice. And then we've got the glove box, which is lined with felt and nothing too crazy with that. So yeah. Up top here, we've got a sunglass holder because, well, if you own a Challenger, you got to have some cool shades. And then this does come with a sunroof as well. All black headliner, controls the sunroof are right there, and then you've got your universal garage door openers, and that's all for the top. Now that we're done going over the interior on this Challenger Scat Pack, let's quickly get into the pricing. So in terms of pricing, this sticker's for about $49,000 before any type of market adjustment. That all being said, let's take this Scat Pack out and see how it drives. Let's quickly talk about visibility before we set off here in the Scat Pack Shaker. You guys can see visibility over the hood is okay. Obviously it's a longer hood, so it does take a second to get used to it, and that shaker does get in the way a little bit, but I think it's worth it for the cool aesthetic. And then you guys can see visibility through both the mirrors, and this car does come with blind spot monitoring, which obviously is going to help because visibility in the back is the best for a muscle car, but obviously compared to average regular cars, it is a little bit difficult to see out the back. And let's set off. So we are setting off in the Challenger with the shaker hood. And first off, I'm gonna have it in just the automatic mode, obviously. So this is just gonna be kind of like you're just casually driving around, probably around town mode. And in terms of the feel of this automatic mode, first and foremost, from a throttle response standpoint, it's very easy to modulate the throttle. This does have a ton of power, but it doesn't feel crazy or anything like that. It doesn't feel like it's difficult to control. And from the ride quality standpoint, definitely feels smooth. This definitely feels like a GT car, and I actually kind of placed the steering wheel a little bit weird. There we go, it's a little bit better. Definitely feels like a GT car. That's something that, you know, the Camaro and the Mustang can't really do anymore, is they're really good, like fun, like I call them like a sport muscle car, whereas with the Challenger, I would call like a GT muscle car. So it's just a little bit of a different category compared to the other two. They're just not nearly as soft on road compared to the Challenger. And yeah, just going over stuff, it doesn't upset the car, and it definitely has like a nice smooth ride quality characteristic to it. Like, this would be a great road trip vehicle actually. But now we're gonna pop it over into the sport mode. Yes, it is 30 degrees outside, but here on Ben Hardy Cars, we drive Challengers in sport mode because, well, why not? So first off, in the manual mode, those paddle shifts, really good. So the transmission's really responsive, especially in the sport mode. It definitely does have a sharpness to it. And let's actually get up and go, and we'll get, this will be kind of like our minor acceleration, so partial throttle. Yeah, super smooth with the gear shifts. They definitely don't like, they're very crisp and they're quick, but they don't throw you around. So again, it seems like this is more like GT tuned in a way, even from a transmission perspective. And well, let's get our full-blown acceleration without dying today. Sounds amazing. Definitely sounds amazing. I actually feel like I hear more intake sound from this than exhaust, like I normally do in any challenge, like an SRT or like a regular Scat Pack. Yeah, you definitely hear more intake noise. It's interesting. Like I definitely hear a lot more happening in the front end than I do from the rear, which is definitely cool. And obviously, you guys heard the power figures, 485 horsepower. This thing is an absolute monster, has a ton of power, and you can feel it. It's really torquey as well. Now, I know the biggest argument against this car is some people go, well, why not just buy a used Hellcat? So first off, a used Hellcat probably doesn't have a warranty if it's at this price point. So there's obviously some scary stuff happening with that. But warranties aside, this is more than enough power, and this power is actually usable. The problem with the Hellcat is, first off, it gets no traction whatsoever. And then the second that you do get traction with that car, you're at speeds that are so high and so illegal that it's impossible to have fun without breaking the law and all that kind of stuff. I mean, we've all seen the Hellcat videos, right? So that's the thing that is really cool about the Scat Pack, is the fact that the power is actually usable, that you could use this on a day-to-day basis. It's not overwhelming, and you can have fun at legal speeds with it. Sounds great. Obviously, it's not going to be as quick as a Hellcat. Obviously, it's not going to be as crazy as a Hellcat, but it's still so much car, and you can still have so much fun with it. And so, yeah, I would definitely check out this Scat Pack shaker. It's a neat little package. That's gonna sum things up with our video on this 2021 Dodge Challenger Scat Pack with the shaker hood. And again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Dodge Ram here in Sandy for giving me some time with the Scat Pack. Check out their inventory in the link below. I'll see all of you in that next video.